Before the United States got involved in the Second World War, writers Joe Simon and Jack Kirby set out to create a superhero, one that could represent the United States and could fight the Nazi army headed by Adolf Hitler. What they came up with was Super American. Alright, yeah, that's not so catchy, but luckily Joe Simon thought super was a bit of a cliche for heroes at the time, so he went with Captain America. Probably a good decision. Now, like I said, Captain America was to represent the US in the war, and thus the first issue showed Cap punching Hitler in the face.
How many of you are ready to help me sock old Adolf on the job? Okay.
That very cover photo actually resulted in protests due to the pro-war message it portrayed. However, it proved to be popular and sold nearly 1 million copies. Today, the Captain is strongly recognized by his infamous round shield. However, this wasn't the case in issue 1. If you saw Captain America, the first Avenger, you know this. It was actually more of a triangular shape than a circle. So why did this change? The original writers of Captain America noticed a strong resemblance between the Captain's shield and another famous superhero at the time, the Shield's chest. Due to this, the original triangular shield only lasted for the first issue and was quickly redesigned as a round shield that we all recognize today for the release of issue 2. When casting began for the revamp of Captain America, multiple actors were considered for the role, which include a list of John Krasinski, Channing Tatum, even Sebastian Stan, who ended up playing Bucky Barnes, as we all know. Ultimately, Marvel wanted Chris Evans, who has now played the Captain on screen a total of 5 times, but he wasn't on board, at least not initially. He actually turned down the role multiple times. Marvel was reluctant, and after turning to friends and family, it was Robert Downey Jr., among others, who ended up pursuing Evans to take the role.
Well, it kept coming back my way. I said no a few times, and it kept coming back, and I talked to a few people in my life, family and friends, and it just started to kind of make sense that I was saying no out of fear, really.
Although Captain America is obviously proud to be an American, he hasn't always been so proud of his country. Shortly after the Watergate scandal in the 70s, Marvel cleverly decided to tie their fictional character into real life. He therefore changed his name and went by Nomad for a short period of time and was known as the Man Without a Country. Then, similarly, about 20 years later, he lost faith in the American government and dropped America from his name and went simply as the Captain. Despite the Captain America film being called the first Avenger, he actually wasn't. In fact, he wasn't even an original member of the Avengers. The original 5 were actually Thor, Iron Man, Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Hulk. In issue 4 of the Avengers, the team finds Captain America frozen in ice. Shortly after that, they become concerned with the uncontrollable anger of Hulk, and Cap is asked to therefore replace him as the new member of the Avengers. Not sure today's Avengers will be quite the same without the almighty Hulk. Up until and during the early 60s, racism was still very prevalent in the United States, and because of this, not a single African American superhero existed in mainstream American comics. This changed in 1966 when Marvel made a very bold and revolutionary move in debuting the Black Panther. However, it wasn't until Captain America issue 117 where Marvel debuted the Falcon. This would be the first time we had an African American superhero whose name didn't have black in the title. The two worked together for years and became best friends. Today, the Falcon has hit the big screen, continuing to fight right alongside Captain America in multiple films. Though Captain America is most commonly known as Steve Rogers, this hasn't always been so. When World War II ended, Captain America disappeared, which we later found out was because he was frozen in ice. When this happened, William Naslund was selected to become the new Captain America. Another to fill Captain America's shoes is Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, who takes on the role after the Civil War in which the infamous Steve Rogers died. These are just a few among many who have taken the title. Before he began his career as a superhero saving the world, Steve Rogers was actually an artist. He mainly specialized in comic books and has even drawn some of his own stories within the Marvel Universe. Despite being a fine arts student, he has slowly done away with it. However, an antique hunter found some of his old artwork, and none other than Spider-Man pushes him to start his old hobby back up. This is a neat look into a more human side of Captain America. We all know that the original comics are today's source material for the many Marvel blockbusters coming out. However, the comics of Captain America and his story is still going on today. In 2014, Steve Rogers was stripped of his super soldier serum that gave him the powers he had. This turned him into a 90-year-old man. Because of this, his sidekick and best friend, the Falcon, took his place as Captain America. With the release of Captain America Civil War, it has been announced that Steve Rogers will gain back his powers and once again be Captain America. Captain America issue number 402 takes place in the woods of Massachusetts. Here, Cap finds himself injected with a mysterious serum created by Nightshade. This serum turned him into a werewolf. Yeah, if that's not crazy enough, he runs across Wolverine. This ended up in a furious battle, but luckily Cap was able to keep his head clear even though he had been injected. The result was Cap slashing Wolverine's face and throwing him. With the exciting news of Marvel and Sony coming to an agreement on Spider-Man, maybe the possibility of us seeing Cap and Wolverine on screen together isn't impossible.